Hi, this is a deeper dive. My name is Jeannie, and I'm so excited that you joined me today. I have my great friend Holly here. I've known Holly for a really long time, and I just want to tell you when I really started diving into deeper things of God, Holly was one of the people on my journey that has been a big part of that. And I feel like what Holly's diving into with God, I'm learning from. And then even today, I said, "Oh, what about this thing that I've learned from you?" And she said, "Well, I'm kind of growing in these other areas now." And I thought, yes, she is one step ahead of me once again. So I'm excited to hear what is on your heart, of what are the deeper things of God? What are you doing with the Lord right now? Because I know I'm going to learn and grow from you once again. So my friend
It's
Holly.
a privilege to hear those words. Thank you, Jeannie. And
Yes.
I was telling Jeannie that I was talking, like I still told you that last night I was talking as I drove. I had like a 2 hour drive and I just started talking out loud to God. And it really helped me figure out where I am. Because when we talked about this concept, I was like, I don't know. It's like things are moving so fast now and they're just moving and moving and moving. And so it took me back. It was a kind of a memory lane thing for me last night to go, where did all this start? Because I was so stuck for so long that then once God opened up a floodgate and started opening it up to me and taking me on a deeper place and taking me to these deeper places, to these mysteries, I I was trying to think last night what brought me there. So what brought me there is what was on my heart this morning because that's what I spent some time last night thinking about. But what brought me to a place where I could start going deeper was this idea of the image of God, that we were made in the image of God. And if we are made in the image of God, then we are made like him. And he made us. We are his children. He is our father. Where our DNA should reflect him. Our very being should reflect who he is. And so in that place, I was just sitting in that place last night and saying, what is it, God? Like, what is it? What is it you're doing? And why do things seem to be moving so fast and beautifully? So in that place, so I have the privilege of sitting under Larry McKnight, and you know Larry well as well, and he's very scholarly and very scholarly man with Joyland. Joyland is the church I attend in Colorado. So
And I just want to say, when
yeah,
you say you get to sit under him, you get to sit under his teaching.
under his teaching,
Like he is a pastor where you go to church,
yeah,
but he also does really deep Bible studies
yeah,
that are often at your house. So
yes.
you get to learn a lot from him.
Yes, so
Yeah.
yeah. So it's not just the Bible study; it's kind of the figuring out part, which is fun for me to watch the process. And he did this whole teaching that I know has really been life changing for me, where he looked up the four nouns in the Greek in the Second Testament. He looked at what are the nouns and the where it says God is something. And so once he got to the God is something, there's four of them. There's God is spirit, God is light, God is fire, the consuming fire, and God is love. God is love. It says it twice. So there were four. So there are literally four words and five times that it said God is with a noun in Greek. I have no idea. I don't understand that piece exactly, except I trust him in his scholarly ways. So
It's an amazing teaching.
It's an amazing teaching.
Yes.
And so that's awesome. So with that, I started sitting with if he is made in that image, if I'm made in the image of God. And if God are these things, then what does that look like? And so, what it looked like for me on my journey, it started with love because God, I think, is just so gracious, right? He's so gracious that He didn't make me start with something that seemed scary or seemed hard. So it was God is love. And so if God is love, I was sitting and I was trying to learn how to just be with him and not let my mind go, how to be with him without even scripture right in front of me, just how to be in God's presence at a different level. And I had these experiences where I had seen and what Father was doing in the heavens. And as I would see what he was doing, I was seeing lots of glass reflected and lots of mirrors coming my way. And I was realizing, no, when I'm made in the image, when I look at him, when I behold who he is, I am becoming and beholding a part of me that I don't understand yet. And so God started that process for me. I didn't start it, but he started the process of love. And so with love, it was you are made of love. And so not how do you love, not, what do I do to love, but I am literally made of love. And I would sit and stare at my hands. I always use that example because I would look at the tiniest thing and think, where could a pin drop? Where could a needle go? And I would say, okay, that part of me is physically made of love. So if I touch someone, what is that like? Whenever I touch Jeannie, then it should be literally the physical manifestation, that the presence of God who is love, not just love, but God who is love is touching. And so that was the process for a long time. And I thought, okay, this is it. Like I found the end all be all. We are made of love. And I was super excited. I know you probably remember those days.
I love those
because that's
days.
all I could talk about is love, love, love.
Yes.
And then with that, I thought, well, if we are those things, and once I heard that teaching, I started saying, okay, so if I'm love, I'm light. And then I thought, oh, that's in the Bible, right? It says, be the light. So I could grab a hold of that and I could run with it. And I was in this part of going, okay, like what's going to happen? I'm going to focus on being light. And I literally had it in my head, like, I mean, I might just not show up tomorrow. Like I just may be so much light that's all people see. So I was in that place.
Sure.
And I had this opportunity because I work with international people from around the world that are not from the Christian faith, that are from all different faiths. And I had this amazing experience with a beautiful, amazing girl that I only met on one occasion. But when I met her, she stopped me whenever we'd spent a weekend together doing some leadership learning and stuff for some school kids and high school kids. So she's a high school age girl, and she said, you are light. You are light. And she was recognizing, and she was like, I just see light in you. You're such light. And people always say, kind things because I happen to be loud, and sometimes that gets noticed. And so my personality sometimes gets loud and noticeable, but that was different because I was literally in the place of going, okay, God, if I'm love, how am I light? And she said, I see the light in you. And I was able to tell her, I see light in you. So, it's not that you have to be of this way to the other. I see light in you. You were made in the image of God. You were made in the image of a living God who is light, and therefore I'm light, and you're light, and she's light, and you're light. Like we are made in this light. So I walked through that process, and then lately I've been thinking, okay, we're really comfortable. So this is kind of where I'm at now to get to that, a long way to get to that question.
I like
that. Is that if we are spirit, we're comfortable with that. Like, oh, my spirit, my spirit, my spirit. We're comfortable with that term. We are spirit. And we're comfortable in that realm, I think, especially in Christian worlds, but even in spiritual worlds of any kind. We are spirit makes sense to us. We're body, we're spirit, we're soul. We're used to those words. And in love, we're like, oh, we're made of love. It's like, oh, that sounds, whatever, but it's like that's a little next level maybe for it was for me. That's a little next level, like I'm made of love. And then, oh, I'm light. Like I'm supposed to be the light, but I can physically be light. So where God has me now is in God is consuming fire. And I am made in the image of consuming fire.
Wow.
And what does that mean? And how does that react? So literally like just the last 3 days, that's where I've been, maybe a week, I don't know. The last week or so, I've been in a place of going, okay, God, I am your consuming fire. And again, it takes me back to kind of that beginning, because before I go to the fire piece, it takes me back to the beginning, because I think we're all searching for these mysteries, for these unknowns. We're all searching in these deep places for a mystery of God that maybe, what mystery have you found? What mystery have I found? And I think that's where we should be, is in these mysteries. We should swim in him and dive into his mysteries and know his mysteries. But Paul says, this is the mystery, Messiah and the Gentiles. So the very fact that Messiah, that Yeshua, that Jesus is in me, that's the mystery. The fact that he is in you in his fullness is the mystery. And it says, in that day, they will know that what Jesus says, they will know I am in union with Father. They are in union with, I'm in union with you. You are in union with me. So if that is the connection, if we are in that kind of union and oneness, that kind of echad, if we live in that kind of union, in that kind of oneness with him, then we can't help but being his image on earth as it was planned originally. So in that, I am spirit, comfortable. I am love. I'm getting more comfortable. I am light. That's beautiful to me. It can sound pretty, but I am consuming fire is where I'm sitting right now.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Okay, so I remember, 3 months or so ago, we went to a gathering and we had a night, everybody dressed up, and you dressed up as fire. So God was already doing something of you connecting with fire. So what has he begun to show you? What are you experiencing in this?
Yeah. So So for that, I'm specifically knowing I was called to be a burning bush.
That's
Yeah,
right.
specifically the fire of the burning bush. And
Yeah.
so, which is interesting because that's a fire that doesn't consume. It didn't consume. So it makes me wonder if he was getting me ready for being comfortable with consuming, because the burning bush was a call, right? It was a light. It was a presence. It was him and his beauty that didn't consume, but it was just the beauty of who he was, and it was to call out. And so at that point, it was this idea that fire calls out. Fire calls us into who we are. Fire calls Moses into identity. So in that moment, like the fire comes, and then from heaven, from the angel from heaven, from God, he hears Moshe, Moshe, and he hears his name being called out over and over, calling him into the presence. And I think even that was just a few months ago, but at that point, that's probably all the fire I was comfortable with, because it was a calling out, and I was comfortable with, wow, it reveals our identity and it shows who we are. And recently, and I think where it got new, where it's feeling new lately, because I think that's a beautiful piece of what he does with fire. He reveals our identity and reveals who we are. And then in that identity, what I'm realizing is that he wants us, he is consuming fire. And I had another experience recently with some great friends that as we were in, we were able to swim in the fire, and in the heavenlies, we were able to picture in our, with the eyes of our heart, and to go to this place of literally putting ourselves, diving into fire, putting ourselves into it on purpose.
Yeah.
And so it just made me, it was like, I crave him as fire. And why am I craving that? And it's because I have come to learn over these last few weeks, I don't know, 2 months, everything's kind of a blur, because he keeps going deeper. But I've come to this place where I crave purposely putting myself, the baptism of fire, just, I want to live in the place of the depths of his fire as well as his water. And in that place, I see that he's burning away all that I'm not. Where I think before I thought I am being judged, like it was scary. I will be judged. I will be placed in this fire. This fire is going to be scary. I'm going to go in and all like, what if I'm not enough? This not enough, like what if it consumes me and it burns and it hurts and it's hard? That not enough piece was the focus. And now what I'm realizing is, if I am willing to swim, if you were willing to swim in this place, to purposely put ourselves in a baptism of fire, then all that I am, just like gold, right? Like all that I am survives and is stronger, but all that I'm not is burned away, and all that I'm not is gone. So instead of me saying, oh, I get close to his presence and I feel like I'm not enough, which is where I was for years, for most of my life, and where I think a lot of us live in this not enough place. But instead of accepting that worthlessness, it was a way to say, I'm going to go so deep and I'm just going to live in that place until I don't feel worthlessness around me anymore.
Wow.
Where that is judged, where he comes as the judge, and he comes to judge that which is not who I was. And so then in that, to go, okay, it's not who I am and it's not who you are. So to see people different in that place, and to be able to, again, just walk through to say, I'm seeing you as you are, and I'm going to let God burn it away. And then over the last few days, that's kind of where it's felt new, is to say, okay, if I'm in this presence, if I'm touching you, if I'm hugging you, then is there something in me? If I'm made of fire, if I'm truly made in his image, and I'm physically made of the physical consuming fire of God, if that's what lives in me, when I hug you, when I touch you, when I walk into a room, all that you're not, I can set that intention to burn that away, because I won't want to see Jeannie for who she's not. I don't want to see somebody for who they're not, and to see the murk, because we all have murk.
Yeah.
I want to see who you are, and who you are is the gold that is revealed when the consuming fire comes. And if I'm the consuming fire, I can bring that into your life. So
That's so powerful. So I just wanted to say, like, I don't know, I think the past year I've been on God as the consuming fire, and I've been really enjoying sitting in the fire, like in prayer, knowing I'm in God as the consuming fire. So much so, this past summer in Texas, it was really hot, like way over 100 degrees almost the whole summer. And I knew God had given words about he's coming with his fire. So I knew it was the fire of God that was coming. That fire, what you're talking about, that the fire does, I knew God's fire was coming, but I didn't see what you're just talking about. I just knew the fire of God was coming, and I knew it burns away the things that are not of him. And I so wanted to be in that fire. I'm really serious about this. I wasn't hot this summer in that heat. It was like I just enjoyed it. I enjoyed the warmth of the fire. It's like a warm embrace. It was welcoming me. I was glad that it was so hot because I could just feel the fire of the Lord. But for me, I kept praying that people would experience the fire of the Lord. I never crossed over into, if I'm in his image, could I carry that fire? Like that has never, honesty here, that's never been a process, a thought in my mind. So hearing what you're sharing is completely just doing something in my thought process of what am I bringing. Years ago, when I first moved to Africa, the Lord told me that I should stop asking him to do what he told us to do. And so I've tried to transition my prayers where I actually do what he's called us to do. But this is a new level that I had never thought. What if I'm fire? What if I'm, instead of asking him to be the light, instead of asking him to be the love, instead of asking him to be the fire, what if, because I'm made in his image, I start doing what I've been asking him to do? This is really deep for me.
Yeah, for me too. And it, like I said, it's so fresh. It's super fresh. But yeah, no, and even, I mean, I'll be super vulnerable and just say that I had a family member pass. I had someone pass in my life, and in that I looked in the heavens and said, God, what are you doing in that person's life? And I saw that in the heavens that she was very, that she was more beautiful than I'd ever seen, and that she was crying, that she was weeping, that she was happy, joyful, but overwhelmingly joyful. And I thought, oh, she's, it's because she's encountering God, and it's so beautiful. That's what we'll be like. And I knew God said no. It's because she's seeing who she is, and it was a beautiful time of her seeing. And I'd heard that one time before, and I've kind of forgotten that concept, but I saw it with my own eyes, and I thought, oh wow, because everything, like when we think of God as consuming fire, I think we always go to he's going to judge us and we're going to be proven not. And instead, it was I'm going to burn away and I'm going to show what is. And so I saw that in the heavens, and I thought, if that's true on heaven, in the last few days, I've just been thinking, how do we bring that here? And he, like, it has to be, and we have to be. And that's when I thought, oh, this is the consuming fire. I have not liked the word consuming. I was very comfortable with God is fire, because fire is warm and pretty, but I wasn't comfortable with the consuming piece, because I think we've been so conditioned to think that fire burns away and it's scary and it's hard and it's torturous, that I had not seen the beauty of consuming, and that it consumes all that's around us. And so I don't want to wait until I pass through. I mean, it's finished, right? Like it's finished now. Yeshua said it after the cross. It is finished. Death has been judged. That part is done. That's been judged. So if that part's been judged, we should be living it now. And if we're living it now, then I want to let everything around me be burnt. I don't want to live it. And then I think, well, if I'm not living it, then all of a sudden I'm looking around, I'm saying, oh, I don't want anybody to live it. I don't want these people to live not seeing themselves fully, because we are made in the image, and that's the true mystery. What's the mystery? Like, I just keep going back. Like, what's the mystery? Because I'm just one that cries out for mysteries. Like, oh, I want a mystery. Oh, tell me something special. And for me, the mystery is clearly spoken. The mystery is he is in you. He is in people. He is in us. He is in the Gentiles. And at the time, the Gentiles were like, they were known as the pagans, right? They were known as the heathens. And he says, I mean, I don't understand it fully. I don't have the theology behind it all. I don't really care about that. All I know is he said it, and it's true. That what is the mystery? The mystery is he's not just in the ones trying to be holy. He's in the Gentiles. He's in at that time the pagan people. And it was a mystery to Paul, and it's a mystery to me. I don't understand it, but I've decided I don't have to. I want to live it. I want to live as if that light, that light is in all of us, because it is, and we are made in his image. Every single one of us is made in his image. You're made in his image, like you're made in his image. So it's the bottom line.
Good. And Holly, one last thing I just want to comment on, and then I want to ask you to pray for us, but I do want to comment and highlight one thing I love about your walk with the Lord, your journey with God, is that you just tell him, like, that felt like too much, or I needed to take this slower. And oftentimes, like, I'm a run way too fast person. And I think often people think it takes my personality to go deeper. But what I love in your personality is you will step back and say, I need to take this slower. Like, I need to do this at a pace that I can
Yeah,
deal with.
I think I'm perceived as bold, and maybe I am in some ways because I'm loud. Because so people think that I'm bold because I'm loud, but in reality, if God says something, it is a relationship. It is a connection, and so I'm like, I look like I run fast because I speak loud once I start running, but I don't run fast. I need to sit with Him in things, and I need it to soak in, and I think that's kind of what's been so fun is this last, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 years, something. It has been fast for me, where it's like, okay, now next, now next, now next. And it just started by saying, instead of just knowing with what I know, I'm going to look and see what is my Father doing, just like what Jesus said on earth. I'm going to look and see. And then from there, I can say, oh, if I see something, can I just sit in it for a while?
Yeah.
Can I just ask you some questions about it? What can I do? Let's have a conversation about this piece, because then it'll help me get to this piece, to this piece. But it's an easier pace for me, and it helps me go, I think, into the depths. I never want to just know something, and I think that's the key. Like, I don't want to know it, I want to live it, and I want to sit in it until I live it, and then can I know the next thing? And when you're ready to show me the next thing, God, I'm ready to hear it. Well, like when you think I'm ready to hear it, that's great, but I don't want to move on until I live it. And so for me, living out this God is piece has been great, but it's also been so gracious, because if He would have shown me fire first, I would have come with judgment, and I would have come against, and I would have come to like, oh, I'm going to burn up who that person is. But He didn't. He showed me his love. And then He said, okay, now Spirit, I mean, that one was a little easier for me to just run with and grab. But then even the light, like this, what is judgment? This is judgment. The light has come, and men love darkness more than light. So even light can be dangerous if it's not with love. But then to say, oh, the next step, and so I kind of got that. But then the next step, and to me where I'm at right now is, I was a little afraid of the light, because I don't want to expose something in you that neither of us can handle and that we're not ready for. But now, if I come in as light, like if God is light living through me, and I walk into a room and I'm walking in with love and light, it's like, now I know what to even do with it, which I don't know what to do, but I know what to at least intend, how to set my intentions for it, how to set my desires for you, is because I can say, okay, I'm walking in love. He's walking in your life in love, and I'm partnering with that. And then now He's exposing things. He's exposing things because He's exposing what is, because he's judging what's around us and the gunk that's covered us up. And then now it's like, okay, and now I don't have to just live with that and see it and make a decision and make it in my head about, okay, what do I become next, or how do I get rid of this? I can just surrender to fire and surrender all that I see in me, all that whatever. And maybe you don't embrace it, or maybe somebody doesn't embrace it, but within me, their junk can be gone. I can see them for who they truly are. And it makes it so much easier to be love, to be light, when I know what to do with it next, which is, I will take all that I see and dump it into the fire with me. I will hold onto your junk, and if I need to, and dive into the fire, so that when I see whoever's junk it is, because we all have it, and if I see their junk, then it's just a natural reaction, is my hope. That's where I want to be going, where it's a natural reaction to say, oh, that's not who you are. We're going to dump that in fire and move on, because that part has nothing to do. The baggage isn't, like, burn all the bags, burn all the bags, and let it be us.
It's so beautiful. So, will you pray for us today?
Absolutely.
That we can experience some of what you've been experiencing?
Yeah.
Wonderful.
So, Father, I look and see what you're doing, and I see that you're burning. I see that you're burning away, and it's beautiful. And we see you as fire. So I pray for all of us. I just ask you for all of us, for me, for Jeannie, and for everyone listening, that we will know you as you are, and that we will see that it's always good, and not just in a saying way, but for real, that we will know it, that we'll live your goodness. So I ask for the experience of love for every person who desires you, who wants to know you, that they will see you as love, that they will see you for who you are, so that when they look and behold you, when they look into the mirror, that all of us will just see you as you truly are, and it will reveal who we truly are. God, I really want that experience for all of us to go deeper and deeper and deeper. And for everyone willing to say yes to that, even a tiny bit, I just know you're answering to show them the reflection that they're ready for right now, in love and light and spirit and fire and who you are, that you'll start revealing to us all a little bit more, just a little bit more every day, so that we can live it, so that we can know it, so that we can experience it fully. And God, I think my heart is just craving. Again, it's craving for all of us, on behalf of all of us. It's craving to know you more. It's craving to see you for who you really are, to not be afraid, to not run, to not go the other way, to not be afraid of our own shortcomings and our own junk, but to just dive in, to dive into your love, dive into your fire, your spirit, and your light. That we want. God, that's all I know how to do is just that. I keep saying words, but it's just a craving. So I just give that craving to you on behalf of myself and Jeannie, and for all that listen. We crave you. Increase our craving for you, and bring us to the depths of you in all of your goodness and all of your love and all of your light and your spirit. But mostly right now, I'm asking for your fire to consume all around us, everything that we are not, that you'll consume it and reveal our true identity and our true image of how we're made in your image, of who we are and how much we look like you, Father. On earth as it is in heaven, in us as it is in you. I just pray it's true. I pray it's so, and I pray we experience it.
Amen. Wow. Thank you so much, Holly, for sharing of yourself, because I know what you just gave us was you. So thank you for sharing of yourself. I know it's impacted my life. I believe it's impacted your life. Thank you for joining us on this deeper dive, and I really hope to see you next time.